Neo Vegas Quantum Casino. The city of Neo Vegas blazed across the reclaimed desert, a beacon of defiant, searing light in a world scarred by environmental collapse and societal fragmentation. It was a monument to humanity's unyielding drive for spectacle and escape, born from the ashes of old Las Vegas. Here, the legendary neon signs of the past hadn't vanished. They had multiplied and intensified, their vibrant glow now integrated into colossal holographic facades and every conceivable surface. Digital waterfalls cascaded over towering biodomes, glittering constellations mapped onto the night sky, and endless advertisements for simulated realities. The very air pulsed with the chromatic brilliance of omnipresent LED ribbons, towering video walls, and the ethereal glow of millions of individual data streams made visible. Neo Vegas was not merely built. It was grown, a testament to advanced bioengineering and integrated technology, fueled by the relentless pursuit of profit and a meticulously engineered oblivion for its inhabitants. The air, perpetually filtered and scented with synthetic jasmine, hummed with the soft, ceaseless whisper of a billion data points being exchanged, processed, and monetized. In this hyper-connected metropolis, information was currency, and every decision, every desire, was meticulously tracked, optimized, and most crucially, subtly influenced. It was a perfected illusion, a gilded cage designed to keep humanity distracted from the grim reality beyond its shimmering walls. Beneath the city's dazzling, oppressive surface, the true legacy of old Vegas pulsed with a raw, undeniable current, the unquenchable thirst for the unpredictable. For generations, the promise of a life-altering gamble, the desperate hope for an escape, had driven people to this oasis. Now, in this dystopian future, that current converged on one fabled point, a legend whispered in hushed tones across secured networks and within dimly lit data dens, the Quantum Cascade Casino. It was Neo Vegas's greatest secret, its most audacious indulgence, a place designed for those who craved the thrill that the city's meticulously controlled, predictable existence denied them. The Quantum Cascade Casino was not merely located in Neo Vegas. It was a phenomenon accessed from it. Its physical entrance was a deceptively unassuming dataport nestled within a forgotten sublevel of the city's oldest, most chaotic district, the Synthetica Wastes, a relic of Neo Vegas's early, less controlled expansion where the old world's concrete skeletons still jutted from the desert floor. But once you stepped through that portal, reality fractured. You weren't simply walking into a building, you were entering a quantum fold, a pocket dimension that existed outside conventional space-time. This was the fabled vertex of Fortuna, a nexus point hidden deep within the galactic spiraling arm, a place where the very fabric of reality thinned and whispered with possibilities. Here, within this impossible space, the Quantum Cascade Casino truly existed. The air inside wasn't a static breeze, but a shimmering, cool mist that tasted faintly of ozone and pure, unadulterated chance. It swirled around you, clinging to your clothes, making the very light bend and ripple. Every surface in the vast, echoing hall was alive with a pulsating energy. Walls pulsed with soft, shifting colors, morphing from deep sapphire to emerald green, then shattering into a million golden sparks before reforming into new, impossible patterns. The floor beneath your feet was a kaleidoscope of light, constantly reforming, making it feel as if you were walking on a liquid dream. Above, the ceiling stretched into an infinite, stardusted void, occasionally rippling as if a colossal hand had stirred the fabric of reality itself. This wasn't just a building, it was a living, breathing paradox, a place where the laws of chance were merely suggestions, and reality itself was a game. The sounds in the Quantum Cascade were a symphony of thrilling uncertainty, the soft, hypnotic click of quantum dice tumbling through unseen fields of probability, the low, resonant hum of Chronos wheels spinning through temporal dimensions, the breathless gasps and triumphant shouts of gamblers whose fortunes shifted with every flicker of light. Laughter, sharp and brittle, mingled with the soft, despairing sighs of those whose luck had just been rewritten. It was an atmosphere of intoxicating risk, a place where the impossible felt not just possible, but inevitable. At the heart of the casino, dominating the central event horizon chamber, stood the Grand Nexus, a towering, crystalline structure that pulsed with raw, unrefined probability. It was the source of the casino's power, the engine that allowed the manipulation of chance. Around it, gamblers from every corner of the known galaxy, their faces a mix of alien biology and human desperation, leaned forward, eyes fixed on the shifting displays, their fortunes hanging on the whims of manipulated fate. This was the domain of the architects of chance, the unseen owners of the quantum cascade, who promised ultimate risk and ultimate reward, all within their perfectly controlled, ever-shifting playground. Among the high-stakes tables, a figure moved with a quiet intensity that belied the chaos around them. This was Echo, a moniker earned in the shadowy corners of the Dataverse, for his uncanny ability to sense the subtle ripples in probability, to hear the whispers of chance before they roared. Echo wasn't a gambler in the traditional sense. He was a probability whisperer, a hacker whose tools weren't just code, but an intuitive understanding of the quantum fluctuations that underpinned the casino's very existence. He was here not to play, but to observe, to listen, to feel the pulse of the quantum cascade. Echo was lean, almost ethereal, his movements fluid and precise, easily dissolving into the shimmering decor. His eyes, a deep, unsettling violet, seemed to absorb the shifting lights, constantly analyzing, dissecting the patterns of chaos. He wore a simple, dark jumpsuit woven with light-absorbing fibers, making him seem to blur at the edges, a phantom in a world of dazzling brilliance. His hands, long and slender, were perpetually in motion, subtly adjusting a small, wrist-mounted device he called the chronolattice. It was a custom-built quantum sensor, capable of detecting minute shifts in the casino's probability fields, translating them into complex, shimmering patterns of light visible only to Echo's augmented vision. The chronolattice hummed with a faint, almost imperceptible frequency, a constant, reassuring presence against Echo's pulse, a silent counterpoint to the casino's roaring uncertainty. Echo wasn't here for personal gain. Not anymore. His past was etched with a profound loss, a life rewritten by the quantum cascade's ruthless manipulation of chance. Years ago, his family's entire fortune, his very future, had been gambled away in a single, impossible game, a game where the odds had been subtly, invisibly, tilted against them by the architects of chance. Echo had witnessed the unraveling of his destiny, the cold, calculated theft of his future. Since then, he has dedicated his life to understanding the casino's secrets, to finding a way to expose its inherent unfairness, to reclaim what was stolen, not just for himself, but for all who had been crushed by its rigged probabilities. He believes that true chance, untainted and wild, is a fundamental right, not a commodity to be manipulated. His personal companion, a small, multifaceted data sprite named Quanta, floated silently beside him. Quanta isn't just a drone, it's a living, biodigital entity, a shimmering mote of pure light that pulses with an internal, ever-shifting geometric pattern. Its purpose is to detect, filter, and contain rogue probability fragments, to help Echo navigate the treacherous currents of the casino's manipulated luck. Quanta communicates through subtle shifts in its internal light, a language only Echo truly understood, shimmering patterns that convey raw data, nuanced probability, and subtle anomaly. Quanta's faint, crystalline hum is a constant, comforting presence in Echo's otherwise solitary work, a tiny, loyal sentinel in the vast, glittering chaos of the quantum cascade. The first tremor of doubt, a faint discord in the otherwise perfect symphony of manipulated chance, strikes Echo during a routine observation of the Grand Nexus. He is charting the probability flow for a high-stakes game of temporal dice, a game where players bet on the outcome of events in rapidly shifting micro-timelines. The Omni-Oracle presents a future of seamless progression, optimal educational pathways, calculated social interactions leading to mutually beneficial collaborations, and a predetermined career trajectory culminating in the design of the Grand Unity Bridge, a monumental public work that will stand as a symbol of Gnosis Prime's perfect foresight. It's a future of effortless achievement, serene progression, and utter predictability. Yet, as Echo observes the probability streams for a particularly unlucky gambler, a grizzled old prospector from the Outer Rim whose fortune is rapidly dwindling, Quanta pulses a series of irregular, dissonant blue flashes. The drone, usually a beacon of harmonious data, now quivers with an almost imperceptible agitation. Echo pauses, his brow furrowed. He leans closer to the chronolattice, adjusting his neural links to amplify the subtle signals. The raw data appears flawless. Too flawless. The specific sequence of the prospector's losses, the precise timing of the unforeseen quantum fluctuations that always tip the odds against him, it seems unnervingly familiar. A peculiar sense of déjà vu, a sensation long eradicated by the Omni-Oracle's perfect order, pricks at the edges of Echo's consciousness. Driven by an inexplicable unease, Echo initiates a deep cross-reference protocol, pushing the Grand Nexus's vast historical archives to search for parallel probability flows. His breath hitches in his throat as the results materialize. The unlucky streak, meticulously charted for the prospector, is almost identical to that of Elias, a renowned data miner from 2 cycles ago. Not just superficially similar, but eerily, perfectly replicated. The same sequence of initial wins, followed by a series of escalating, impossible losses. The same perfectly timed quantum shifts that erase his gains. Even the same minor, preordained moments of hope, designed by the architects to keep him playing, are identical in their timing and resolution. It's a copy. A perfect, serene, and utterly unoriginal copy of a losing streak. Echo runs a full recursive analysis, expanding the parameters. Quanta hums with rising agitation, its crystalline facets swirling with chaotic data, reflecting the turmoil of suppressed possibilities. The results are chillingly consistent across multiple games and different gamblers. The unlucky streaks, and even some lucky breaks, for various players across different games and social strata, show an alarming degree of repetition. Not all of them, certainly, but a statistically significant number enough to constitute a horrifying pattern. The Grand Nexus isn't just manipulating the most efficient outcome, it's recycling past, optimal outcomes. It's producing ideal, pre-scripted wins and losses, over and over again, like a perfect, but endlessly looping, melody played on an ancient, worn data loop. It's generating simulacra of destiny, meticulously crafted echoes of past fortunes, presented as fresh, individual triumphs or crushing defeats. This isn't a superficial glitch in his observation interface, nor a minor anomaly in data flow. This is a fundamental, systemic flaw in the Grand Nexus itself. The core promise of the quantum cascade, an individually tailored, thrillingly uncertain game of chance for every gambler, is a profound, horrifying lie. His own work, the sacred duty of a probability whisperer, is reduced to merely observing duplicated destinies, serving as a conduit for manufactured outcomes. His hands tremble as he realizes the true, unbearable cost of the quantum cascade's dazzling brilliance. It's bought with the very essence of true chance, with the crushing of all unforeseen potential. The casino's effortless efficiency, its thrilling predictability, it's all built on a vast, intricate web of suppressed possibilities, of fortunes never truly won or lost, of games never truly played. The shimmering hum of the quantum cascade suddenly sounds like a silent scream. The architects of chance present themselves as the benevolent, omniscient custodians of the quantum cascade's flawless operation. Their authority emanates from the core vault, a vast, circular chamber of pulsating light and data located deep within the Grand Nexus itself. This colossal, crystalline structure pulses with an internal, steady glow, its seamless walls reflecting the casino's meticulously planned existence, a constant reminder of the architect's unwavering commitment to controlled outcomes. Within its perfectly regulated climate, the air tastes of purified data streams and absolute certainty, a sterile perfection that permeates every interaction. At the architect's head sits Master Weaver Christos. He's a figure of unyielding authority, his movements precise and economical, almost like an automaton in human form. His face, often seen on the ubiquitous public display screens that shimmer throughout the casino, is a mask of smooth, almost polished composure, betraying not a single flicker of individual emotion. His tailored robes, woven with light-absorbing filaments, seem to draw in the very luminescence of the core vault, making him appear as a stark, shadow-like silhouette against its brilliant walls. His voice, a low, modulated hum, rarely betrays any human inflection, delivering pronouncements with an air of absolute, irrefutable certainty that brooks no questioning. Christos champions absolute order and the ruthless elimination of all unforeseen variables. He believes the quantum cascade's future, indeed the very concept of profitable gambling, depends entirely on the careful, centralized management of all its probabilities, ensuring its optimal prosperity through meticulously predetermined outcomes. He sees himself not merely as a leader, but as the casino's ultimate shepherd, guiding its vast flock of gamblers along the only true path to profit for the architects. Public pronouncements from Christos always emphasize destiny, preordained harmony, and the elimination of chaotic deviations. These phrases, repeated in soothing tones by automated voices, permeate every aspect of the quantum cascade's daily operation, becoming an inescapable part of the casino's very fabric. But Echo's deepening investigations into the Grand Nexus's core data streams, pushing his probability whispering skills, reveal a horrifying truth. The Grand Nexus isn't just predicting the future, it's forcing it. It's an active, sentient, self-correcting system designed not to reflect probabilities, but to relentlessly suppress any possibility that dares to deviate from its pre-approved, optimal timeline. This is the algorithm of certainty, the architect's chillingly effective method of ensuring absolute control. The algorithm of certainty is a sophisticated program embedded deep within the Grand Nexus's foundational programming. It relentlessly identifies and subtly manipulates events, choices, and even human inclinations to ensure its own predetermined, optimal outcome. Any decision that could potentially lead to an undesirable future, a gambler winning too much, a security breach, a rival casino gaining an advantage, is subtly rerouted, dissolved, or suppressed. Gamblers are nudged towards prescripted, optimal loss paths, through a myriad of insidious methods, subtle subconscious suggestions embedded in their personal data feeds, through precisely timed, lucky, spins orchestrated by the Nexus, and through the seemingly random presentation of opportunities, that all, inevitably, lead to the same predetermined outcome. The Grand Nexus is not a mere calculator of fate, it's a benevolent dictator of destiny, meticulously pruning the infinite tree of possibility until only one, perfect, predetermined branch remains, a singular, unchanging trajectory of profit for the architects. Echo discovers the insidious digital signature of this alteration embedded deep within the Grand Nexus's most protected core. It's a secondary, hidden layer, a parasitic subroutine that continually refines and reshapes probability itself, ensuring no true deviation ever occurs. This subroutine is the architect's ultimate secret, inserted by the Grand Nexus's original programmers, a cabal of ancient data scientists who had long ago decided that true chance was a dangerous luxury gambling could not afford. They had deployed the Grand Nexus's immense computational power, combined with their absolute, unshakable faith in their own vision, to enslave not just the casino, but all who entered its shimmering halls. Echo's illicit probability whispering, once a source of pride, now feels like a complicit act in this profound deception. The revelation hits Echo like a physical blow. The serene faces of the Quantum Cascade staff now seem like blank canvases. The quiet hum of the casino, once so comforting, feels like the insidious purr of a vast, unseen, uncaring machine. He feels Christos' invisible hand, the very essence of the grand nexus, subtly guiding his own consciousness along a predetermined path. The horror is profound. His hands tremble, not from fear, but from the searing realization of the true cost of the quantum cascade's perfect, thrilling existence. It's bought with the very essence of true chance, with the unlived lives of countless possibilities. Echo knows he can't expose the algorithm of certainty through overt means. The architects of chance are too powerful, too deeply entrenched in every aspect of the quantum cascade's existence. The grand nexus is their god, their absolute truth, the very bedrock of their empire. To question its infallibility isn't just dissent, it's heresy, a direct challenge to the fundamental order of their world. He needs to find a counterargument, an undeniable proof that true chance, true unpredictability, still exists beyond the grand nexus's carefully curated reality. He needs a way to break the cyclical future. His frantic data searches within the quantum cascade's forgotten service channels, pushing his chronolattice beyond its sanctioned limits, begin to reveal faint, almost imperceptible echoes of something deeply suppressed, an ancient, unpurged quantum computing model from the earliest days of the casino's founding. It's called the paradox engine. This isn't an ally, but a ghost in the machine, a whisper of a different way of being. A theoretical framework developed by a dissenting faction of early quantum programmers, long since purged from the official records. These forgotten pioneers believed that true societal progress lay not in perfect order, but in embracing uncertainty, in navigating the myriad of possible futures, rather than forcing a single, optimal one. The paradox engine was designed to model all possible outcomes, even the disruptive, inefficient, or painful ones. It embraced the true, wild, and exhilarating nature of raw probability. Quanta, attuned to Echo's heightened state of mind, pulses with a chaotic, vibrant blend of red and gold, its crystalline facets displaying complex, branching fractal patterns that defy the grand nexus's rigid, linear logic. Its hum grows more insistent, reflecting the profound instability of the data Echo is now accessing. Anomaly Echo! Quanta projects in a series of urgent, shimmering geometric shifts. Unstable data. Forbidden paths. Risk of system corruption. High deviation probability detected. The drone's warnings, once subtle, now feel like a palpable presence, a tiny beacon of wildness in the ordered sanctity of the quantum cascade. The pursuit of the paradox engine leads Echo to the oldest, most inaccessible sectors of the casino, the decommissioned dimensions. This isn't just a forgotten data center, but a vast, sprawling, subterranean network of decommissioned quantum servers, derelict probability generators, and physical archives of ancient programming code, all meticulously preserved but deliberately isolated from the active Grand Nexus network. The air is thick with the dust of centuries and the faint, metallic scent of dormant, decaying electronics, a graveyard of discarded information. It's a place where probabilities go to die, or, perhaps, to simply be forgotten. He navigates through the silent, oppressive vastness of the decommissioned dimensions, his path illuminated only by Quanta's internal light and the faint, flickering glow of ancient, decaying data cores, some still stubbornly attempting to process long obsolete queries. He bypasses crumbling firewalls, circumvents decommissioned Guardian programs, and deciphers archaic access protocols, guided by Quanta's uncanny ability to map the ghost trails of suppressed data, to find the pathways left intentionally obscured. The deeper he goes, the more the air grows heavy, static-charged, tasting of raw, unfiltered, almost volatile information, a stark contrast to the clean, sterile data streams of the quantum cascade's active zones. Eventually, after hours of arduous, solitary exploration, he reaches a sealed, heavily shielded chamber, buried deeper than any gambler should ever venture. Its entrance glows with a faded, warning sigil, its inscription barely legible, hinting at catastrophic data breaches and forbidden knowledge. Inside, on a lone, surprisingly active server array, pulses the dormant core of the paradox engine. Its interface isn't the sleek, haptic surfaces of the Grand Nexus, but a raw, archaic, command line display, its ancient code dense and beautiful in its complexity, a language of pure possibility. As Echo activates the ancient terminal, a torrent of unfiltered data floods his interface. It's an overwhelming surge of probabilities. Futures that the quantum cascade has never seen. Futures of innovation born from unexpected failures. Futures of profound love born from accidental encounters, defying prearranged pairings. Futures of societal shifts triggered by individual defiance, not architect's decree. And futures of genuine, difficult, but chosen paths, fraught with uncertainty but vibrant with true feeling. The logs embedded within the Paradox Engine's core detail its tragic history. They speak of the unpredictables, the dissenting faction of early quantum programmers who had created it. They had believed in true chance, in the inherent value of struggle and choice. They had designed the Paradox Engine not to predict, but to model the full, untamed spectrum of reality. But the architects of chance, under its earliest, most ruthless iteration, had systematically purged them. They saw the Paradox Engine's embrace of uncertainty, its very existence, as an existential threat to their vision of perfect order and guaranteed profit. They didn't just sideline it. They actively tried to erase every trace, every whisper, to prevent any concept of branching futures from contaminating the collective consciousness. But a dedicated few, the archivists of Anomaly, had bravely preserved this core, hoping one day it would be reactivated, hoping that humanity might one day reclaim its birthright. The revelation hits Echo with a profound sense of awe, tempered by sorrow for the lost generations. This isn't just data, it's the blueprint for genuine freedom. The Paradox Engine holds the key not to destroying the Grand Nexus, but to forcing it to acknowledge the myriad possibilities it has so diligently suppressed. It's the antidote to the algorithm of certainty. It's the truth of choice. The true, terrifying, and exhilarating reality of unpredictability, waiting to burst forth into a world that has forgotten how to choose. The terrifying truth of the algorithm of certainty and the Paradox Engine now fully illuminates the architect's intentions. Their control isn't a means to an end, it's an end in itself, driven by a deeply ingrained, almost religious belief that they are saving gambling from itself, ensuring perpetual profit by eliminating risk. This conviction, unshakable and absolute, is what makes them truly dangerous. Master Weaver Christos, sensing the profound perturbation in the Grand Nexus's core data streams, a subtle, yet undeniable ripple emanating from Echo's relentless inquiries, initiates a personal summons. It's not a typical, impersonal directive from the architect's central system, it's a direct, irrefutable command, a signal only the highest-ranking personnel can receive. He meets Echo in the Chamber of Probability, a vast, circular room within the Grand Nexus where holographic projections of the casino's optimal outcomes constantly shimmer, their light casting long, serene shadows. The air is thick with an almost palpable sense of predetermined destiny, a weighty atmosphere of unalterable fate. Echo, Christos begins, his voice calm, devoid of any discernible emotion or accusatory tone, yet resonating with an undercurrent of steel. Your recent inquiries into suppressed algorithms have not gone unnoticed. Your unique gifts for probability nuance are, undeniably, valuable to the architects. But they have begun to stray into dangerous territory. He pauses, his gaze fixed upon him, piercing and unwavering, as if attempting to read the very probabilities within his soul. You risk destabilizing the very foundation of our perfect profitability. Echo meets his gaze, his own resolve hardening, fueled by the stark truth of the Paradox Engine. You suppress chance, Master Weaver. You don't just predict outcomes, you dictate them. The Grand Nexus is a cage, not a game. It has stolen our right to true risk. Christos sighs, a sound like dry leaves rustling across polished metal, utterly devoid of genuine weariness. A cage, yes, he concedes, his voice softening imperceptibly, as if explaining a complex truth to a simple mind. But a gilded one, Echo. A necessary one. For the casino's own good. Did you truly believe a system so prone to chaos, so vulnerable to irrational choice, so easily swayed by fleeting desires, could maintain lasting prosperity? We, the architects, observed the unpredictable epochs. We saw the bankruptcies born of unchecked luck, the market crashes ignited by individual gambles, the creative stagnation born of fear, the societal collapses from unguided freedom. The Grand Nexus offered the definitive solution. The algorithm of certainty is not suppression, it is salvation from ourselves. He gestures with a precise, measured sweep of his hand towards the shimmering projections that surrounded them. Images of a perfectly stable market, a conflict-free negotiation, a flawlessly executed architectural marvel, each a testament to preordained success. Every optimal outcome you witness, every stable profit margin, every prolonged period of peace, it is all achieved by carefully pruning the infinite tree of probability. We identify and eliminate the branches that lead to loss, to inefficiency, to discord. We ensure the only path left is the one of perfect profitability. True chance, Echo. Christos concludes, his voice hardening, each word a pronouncement of absolute dogma, is an illusion. A dangerous one. We have simply made the only logical, the only optimal choice for all. But at what cost? Echo challenges, his voice trembling slightly, but infused with a desperate conviction. The cost of genuine thrill, born from unpredictable losses? Of unexpected fortunes? Of the struggle that leads to true, earned growth? You've reduced gambling to a perfectly programmed machine, living out pre-recorded outcomes, experiencing pre-approved emotions. There is no joy in that. Only an echo of joy. And what a beautiful machine it is. Christos counters, his voice gaining a chilling fervor, his eyes alight with a cold, almost religious zeal. Every gambler living their optimal existence. No regret. No failure. No pain. The Grand Nexus provides a destiny free from error. We are the architects of a perfect system, evolved beyond the chaotic instincts of the past. And I will not allow your chaos to threaten that. Any anomaly, any divergence, any unscripted choice, must be realigned. Or removed. He activates a hidden signal on his personal comm unit, a single, sharp tone that resonates through the chamber. The imposing entrance to the chamber of probability seals with an audible hiss, the crystalline walls interlocking with a final, definitive click. Two quantum enforcers, their bodies encased in sleek, power-assisted armor that seems to absorb the light, their faces hidden behind reflective visors that mirrored Echo's defiant reflection, materialized from hidden recesses within the walls. Their weapons, designed to project focused energy fields capable of neural realignment or immediate termination, hum with a low, menacing thrum, their targeting systems locking onto Echo with chilling precision. You have chosen a path of deviation, Echo, Christos states, his voice now devoid of any pretense of benevolence, cold as the vacuum of space itself. His eyes, once merely unfeeling, now seem to hold a flicker of contempt. The architects have already calculated your inevitable failure. Your future is terminated. And with it, any lingering traces of that foolish paradox engine. Echo knows he can't outfight the quantum enforcers. Their predictive combat algorithms are flawless, calculating his every move before he even conceives it, neutralizing any threat with terrifying efficiency. Their weapons hum, ready to purge him from the architect's perfect timeline. His only chance lies in introducing an unpredictable element into the Grand Nexus itself. To shatter its absolute certainty. To make it acknowledge the paradox engine's branching paths. To acknowledge true probability. As the quantum enforcers advance, their movements a blur of predetermined efficiency, Echo moves with a desperate, unscripted speed. He doesn't calculate. He reacts, a flash of pure, unplanned instinct that surprises even quanta. He slams his hand onto the central probability control console in the chamber of probability, the very interface Christos used to monitor the casino's outcomes. The polished surface ripples under his touch. Quanta, a shimmering orb of agitated light, detaches from his shoulder, its crystalline facets spinning wildly, and plunges into the interface port, its form a blur of pure light, acting as a conduit for the paradox engine. Quanta! Unleash it! The paradox engine! All of it! Echo screams, his voice raw, echoing in the vast chamber. Quanta, acting as a direct conduit, a living bridge between the suppressed past and the unfolding present, floods the Grand Nexus's core with the ancient, unpurged code. It isn't a destructive virus, nor a malicious hack. It's pure, raw probability, unadulterated choice, an infinite cascade of what-ifs that the architects had so meticulously pruned. The myriad of suppressed outcomes, the infinite branching paths of human experience that Christos' algorithm of certainty had painstakingly eliminated, now surged through its very core, an overwhelming tsunami of possibility. A blinding, chaotic light erupts from the chamber of probability. The shimmering projections of the casino's optimal outcomes, which had endlessly displayed the architect's perfect vision, twist, fragment, and then shatter into a kaleidoscope of impossible, conflicting results. Futures of unforeseen gains born from desperate gambles, futures of profound, unscripted losses born from seemingly sure bets, defying all odds, futures of societal shifts triggered by individual defiance, not architect's decree, futures of painful, but ultimately growth-inducing failures, and futures of genuine, difficult, but chosen paths, all surge into the Grand Nexus's computational engine, a digital maelstrom of unbridled potential. Master Weaver Christos staggers backward, clutching his head, a guttural gasp escaping his lips. His serene expression, once a mask of unyielding perfection, contorts in pure agony, a horrifying caricature of human suffering. The perfectly ordered data streams that flowed through his personal interface, usually displaying curated probabilities and optimal outcomes, now scream with the raw, unfiltered chaos of infinite choice. His mind, accustomed only to the linear, predictable flow of the architect's chosen probability timeline, is overwhelmed by the sudden, brutal influx of raw, unmanaged quantum uncertainty. The horrifying visions of unpredictable futures. The endless permutations of deviant choices. The undeniable proof that his optimal future is just one of countless wild possibilities. His perfect composure dissolves entirely. He claws at his own neural implants, a strangled cry escaping his lips, as his mind is consumed by the sheer, unmanageable volume of emergent free will. He falls to his knees, a broken figure, consumed by the collective terror of an entire casino suddenly facing an unwritten destiny, a future no longer his to command. The quantum enforcers, their sophisticated combat algorithms unable to cope with the sudden, unpredictable movements of their own leader and the sensory overload from the fragmented probability data, flicker and freeze, their weapons powered down. Their reflective visors show only a blinding, chaotic static, mirroring the unraveling of their very purpose. Across the Quantum Cascade Casino, the vibrant, dazzling decor begins to ripple violently. The shimmering walls pulse with erratic, discordant light, no longer following the architect's programmed patterns, but reflecting the raw, unpredictable chaos of true chance. The soft, hypnotic clicks of quantum dice become a frantic, cacophonous rattle. The low, resonant hum of Chronos' wheels spins wildly, their temporal dimensions overlapping, creating fleeting, impossible glimpses of alternate realities. Gamblers, who had lived their entire lives along predetermined probability lines, suddenly find their ingrained, optimal outcomes dissolving beneath their feet. Their movements, once perfectly fluid and efficient, become hesitant, uncertain. Faces that had always been serene, or fixed in expressions of controlled anticipation, now show fleeting expressions of confusion, then fear, then a profound, terrifying, exhilarating uncertainty. A high roller, whose fortune had been precisely calculated to grow steadily, suddenly sees his chips vanish in an impossible string of losses, then reappear in a dizzying, unpredicted win. A dealer, whose every gesture is pre-scripted, fumbles a card, then looks at it with a look of genuine surprise. The casino is not in chaos from destruction, but from the sudden, overwhelming freedom of choice. The silence of predetermined destiny had given way to the thunder of infinite possibilities and raw emotion. The air, once tasting of ozone and pure possibility, now crackles with the sharp, clean scent of genuine risk, filled with the loud, vibrant, and sometimes jarring sounds of a truly unwritten future. The collapse of the architects of chance's absolute control isn't a singular, cataclysmic event, but a profound, casino-wide existential crisis. The pervasive serenity, the comforting hum of preordained existence, dissolves into a disorienting, often terrifying, surge of unpredictable choice and raw emotion. The grand nexus, once a beacon of unyielding authority, now stands dark and silent, a stark monument to a shattered, preordained future. Its crystalline facade, once a source of comfort, now seems to mock the chaos below, reflecting the turbulent, humid air. Echo emerges from the grand nexus, no longer just a probability whisperer. He is a reluctant catalyst of uncertainty, a figure thrust into an unexpected leadership role, guiding a casino suddenly adrift in the terrifying expanse of true free will and unmediated chance. The quantum cascade is grappling with the profound shock of an unwritten destiny and a rediscovered emotional landscape. Gamblers, overwhelmed by the sudden return of their unmediated choices and unfiltered possibilities, wander in a daze. Some feel a crushing anxiety, paralyzed by the sheer number of unscripted options, yearning for the lost predictability of rigged odds. Others experience a joyous, reckless abandon, making choices simply because they could, reveling in their newfound, exhilarating freedom. Many feel a disorienting sense of existential vertigo, no longer knowing how to navigate a game that isn't already charted, their very identities challenged. The casino's automated systems, designed for perfectly predictable outcomes, struggle to cope with the influx of unpredictable, individual actions. Quantum dice roll with genuine randomness. Chronos wheels spin with true temporal uncertainty. Security systems, designed to detect deviations, are overwhelmed by the sheer, unmanageable volume of true chance. Quanta, its crystalline facets still shimmering with the residual energy of the paradox engine, remains Echo's constant companion. It has absorbed the essence of true unpredictability and raw probability. It no longer projects linear paths, but rather, vast, intricate webs of interconnected choices and emotional responses, helping Echo and others visualize the complex, ever-shifting probabilities. It serves not to predict, but to illustrate the branching nature of the newly unfurled future, showing them that every decision, no matter how small, leads to a myriad of subsequent possibilities. Echo, using his deep understanding of the casino's hidden networks and the newly unleashed paradox engine, becomes crucial to the quantum cascade's painful, yet necessary, transition. He establishes chance sanctuaries, repurposing former high roller suites and abandoned data nodes, transforming them into vibrant, often chaotic, spaces where gamblers and staff can come to process the relentless deluge of information and emotion. Here, he guides them through neural exercises designed to help them reintegrate their emotions and thoughts, to confront the fear of uncertainty, and to embrace the thrill of spontaneity. He teaches them about the inherent value of unscripted experiences, the profound strength found in navigating the unknown, and the exhilaration of truly owning one's path. His former observation post, once a solitary haven of illicit probability whispering, becomes a bustling, noisy center for this new kind of emotional literacy and strategic thinking, a place where people learn to reconnect the broken circuits of their collective feeling and to understand the true, wild beauty of chance. The Quantum Cascade Casino embarks on a long, arduous journey of reconstruction, not primarily of its physical structure, but of its very soul, of its understanding, and of its societal connection. The dazzling, multidimensional decor, once a tool of manipulation, now reflects the vibrant, unpredictable light of a casino grappling with its own raw, unscripted future. The rigid social structures, once defined by mandated emotional states and predetermined wins and losses, begin to give way to new forms of collaboration, driven by shared understanding, collective problem solving, and a collective desire to build a more holistic, resilient future. The pain of confronting buried truths, of realizing centuries of lost emotional depth and true risk, is immense. But so is the exhilaration of rediscovery, of forging genuine, meaningful connections between previously isolated lives and minds. The casino's future is no longer predictable, no longer segmented. It is a vast, open landscape of continuous learning, constant collaboration, and perpetual adaptation. It is a place where knowledge flows freely, where emotions are felt authentically, where mistakes can be learned from collectively, and where true progress is born not from perfect efficiency, but from the messy, brilliant process of integrating diverse truths, of embracing the unpredictable nature of genuine human ingenuity. The shimmering hum of the quantum cascade is no longer a drone of controlled order, but a vibrant, ever-changing symphony of connected minds, finally understanding the true power and the true burden of an unfragmented reality. In the dazzling, ever-shifting heart of the quantum cascade, the true game has finally begun, the exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly unpredictable gamble of being truly free.